Hello, denizens. My gosh, progressives are freaking out about the ending of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Protests have erupted around the Ed Sullivan Theater in New York. Police were initially confused because no one was carrying Palestinian flags. As your former network executive and former comedian, I have a slightly different take on the ending of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I don't hate the man, and I think he's funny, but not as a talk show host. His interview segments were the worst part of the program. He was much more comfortable with politicians, not surprisingly, but terrible with actors. A talk show host has to be a bit dangerous. You can't always guess or anticipate how they're going to react to a situation. It's sort of like a class clown lying in wait, ready to pounce on a guest's inappropriate comment and twist it into a lurid double entendre. At the same time, they can't be constantly trying to be funnier or more entertaining than their guests, like that unctuous weasel Jimmy Fallon. Letterman was the best of the still living crop, challenging, dry, occasionally antagonistic, but intellectually curious and, a bit dangerous. O'Brien, witty, self-deprecating, brilliant at improvisation, and a good interviewer. Ferguson was the chaos philosopher. Leno was just too damn polite. Carson, of course, was the master. I already did a video on the event of Colbert's firing, and predictably most of the comments were that he was never funny, or he was funny back when he was doing the Colbert Report, pretending to be a right-wing pundit. Personally, I can't think of why anyone would watch a show featuring a fake real news anchor. I endured hours of Colbert's, Stewart's, and Fallon's endless Epstein jokes. The one thing that struck me was how loud they all are, and that didn't include the moments when they were shouting their punchlines. We had a joke when I was performing with the semi-legendary Frantics comedy troupe that if something wasn't working, making it louder made it funnier. I can tell you from experience, it doesn't work. Before I get back to the late night hosts, if you've been following the fallout of the demise of The Late Show, there has been an outpouring of anguish from the Hollywood elite like Rosie O'Donnell, Rachel Ziegler, Judd Apatow, and Andy Cohen, to name but a few mega talents. Of course, Colbert's comrades, such as the serially unfunny John Oliver, Jimmy Kimmel, and sadly even Ben Stiller, came out swinging. The idiots proclaimed it was an attack on free speech, the rending of the Constitution. Sonny Hostin, the View's highlight reel of stupidity, said it was the dismantling of democracy. Isn't that what they said when they canceled the Newlywed Game? Al Sharpton on MSNBC said Stephen Colbert was someone who put America to sleep at night. That's for sure. While I'll bet dollars to donuts Trump is happy about this outcome, none of the people whinging about the death of free speech seem to have any understanding of the economics of buying another company. The buyer of a company always pays a premium for that privilege. The first thing they will do is find what is called synergies, usually getting rid of C-level execs, clerical staff, IT department, etc., to remove duplications. There will be further cost cutting to finance the purchase because the purchasing company often goes into debt. They borrow money to make the purchase. Skydance is going to shrink CBS Paramount as fast as possible and jettison projects in development, cancel long-term development contracts, and shows that aren't profitable. And The Late Show was not profitable. Did howling Hollywood harpies mention The Late Show's ad revenue drop from $121 million in 2018 to only $70 million by 2024? A 40% decrease? I'm fairly certain I did not hear M&A expert Kristen Chenoweth mentioned that. Is it any wonder why we are fed up with delusional actors? And let's say, for the sake of argument, it wasn't canceled to curry favor for Trump. Do you think Colbert would accept a pay cut and staff reduction to keep the show on the air? I doubt it. With declining ad revenue, what would be the point of keeping the show around? And seriously, didn't the producers know about the huge losses? Didn't anyone go to Colbert and go, "Hey, Stephen, you got to do something, about the show to stop the bleeding, please"? Sure, Late Show won the total ratings race, but it only averaged 219,000 viewers a night in the 18 to 49 demographic. And you know where I'm going with this. Jeepers, there are 100 YouTube channels that do better than that don't cost $100,000 a year to produce. Well, other than mine. Of course, the Trump haters out there will view this as a totalitarian conspiracy, but I think one can root for Colbert and still be capable of rational thought. No one will be setting up a GoFundMe account for Stephen. Reruns of Letterman would be more profitable, and Letterman, for his part, showed a compilation of his CBS management jokes. If that was intended, supposed to be in support of Colbert, it backfired as it showed just how much funnier Letterman was. I think Letterman is just sad that a show created for him has been axed. Colbert was not the man to carry on his legacy. I think late night talk is kind of dead in general. Watching Fallon was like eating alien eggs on purpose. He had pop culture references that were no longer pop culture references. His joke about Anne Hathaway's bangs in The Devil Wears Prada was killer. When Pete Davidson is the biggest guest you have available, you know late night is in trouble. And this will be heresy for many of you, but I don't find Gutfield's show funny most of the time either. Lots of cheap jokes, but not a lot of wit. And everyone is shouting like it's American Ninja Warriors. Still, it looks very much like Colbert is going to spend the remaining 10 months of his employment going hard on the president. Personally, I think that's a mistake. I would have told him to ignore the man. Stop doing political jokes entirely. In fact, the funniest bits I saw over the last few days were these strange news items that frankly reminded me of the kinds of jokes Carson told. Stop inviting politicians as guests. For God's sake, Elizabeth Warren appeared like 11 times. Now, that's entertainment. There must be someone amongst your staff of 200 who can write. Make your interviews sound less scripted. Finish off your late night stint being the funniest person you can be. Yes, the left is melting down over the end of Late Show with Stephen Colbert. They also don't know how private enterprise works. Letterman's final episode landed almost 14 million viewers. Let's see how Colbert's finale numbers stack up. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.